Well, this webcam looks absolutely horrible, but it's okay. Been trying to get a little more support as I can with dealing with my pancreatic cancer, especially financially speaking. Uh, you can look me up on Facebook under James Hayes. I don't go by my first name on social media too much, simply because had an issue with people trying to cancel culture me a couple years back, and they attacked the business I was working for just simply because we had a difference of opinion on public services, and it was kind of ridiculous. But anyways, um, I'll try to get better at doing live videos, especially for YouTube. And I can see this one is just kind of really weird looking. So regardless, I'm retired U.S. Air Force. I did 20 years of military service from 1993, a year out of high school, all the way up to 2013. I have three kids, and I am married. After a divorce for about 2 years, we decided that it was our best interest to get back together, and mainly for each other, yes, and to support our children and try to get them in the best position they can to complete their life. To move on to high school, from high school to college, get a degree that actually is worth something in today's society, uh, and give them good work ethics. And that's what we're hoping can occur by getting our household back together from being broken. But uh, in March of 2023, I came down with I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and it's a funny story how that kind of occurred. I was actually uh, preparing to cook some chicken out in the barbecue grill, and I had marinated the chicken, and I took it out to the grill to perform, to cook the chicken, and I had a bit of marinade that was actually just running down my thumb there, and I decided just to lick it off my hand, and my brain instantly flipped over and said, "Hey, stupid! Why did you lick that? Because you know you're going to give yourself salmonella." And I ran inside, just rinsed my mouth out real quick, and I was like, I know I'm going to come down with salmonella poisoning, and I'm going to have to deal with a digestive problem for the next week or so. And I did come down with salmonella. I had horrible digestive problems from going from a normal bowel movement to having really bad diarrhea and upset stomach. And if you had salmonella before, a lot of people have, so you kind of know what it is. Uh, After a couple of days, I've been taking a lot of probiotics, trying to push that salmonella virus out of my digestive tract. So I was drinking probiotic drinks. I was taking probiotic pills. I was doing protein drinks, Ensures, Premier protein drinks as well, just yogurts, everything I could do to improve my digestive health, to push the salmonella virus out of my digestive tract. Now, if you know anything about salmonella, it is a direct competitor with the enzymes and everything that's in your gut and all the good floral bacteria that's in your gut. Salmonella is in direct competition with that. It's trying to take all the nutrients. I started losing weight pretty quickly. I am not a big guy. I'm 5'6". At my max, I was probably 150 pounds at most. My happy weight is generally around 140 to 145 pounds. For me, that's fairly good. I'm not fat. I am fairly good health, even though I have no medial meniscus in my left knee. That's a different story. But um, the salmonella started the party for me. It actually highlighted there was something else wrong in my system. So when the salmonella symptoms did not subside after the 4 to 7 days that the CDC says salmonella runs, I went to my PCM, my primary care physician, and told them that there was something wrong. That my digestive tract my GI tract had not returned back to a normal state. So my doctor said, "Yeah, let's see what's going on." So we drew some blood, sent it down to the labs, and they said, "Well, everything looks good across the board except there is something showing on the tumor markers. You do have a high number for tumor markers." And we decided to get an X-ray. Went to I mean, it's instantaneous because I'm a VA. I go to the Veterans Administration, the local VA hospital, so I can get things done a little bit quicker than most people can. So I walked down the hall. We took an X-ray of my GI tract, and they said it's all messed up. It's like they could see that there was a whole bunch of buildup in there between, like it looked like when I looked at the X-ray, because I just looked back as I left the office and looked at the X-ray machine to see what was showing up. My whole colon looked like a string of sausages. I mean, that's what it looked like, to be honest. Uh, so they said, yeah, I had all sorts of issues, weird stuff going on in my gut. So at that point, they instantly scheduled me for a CT scan, and there's literally the next day I got in, went back, got scanned, and they said we see a mass on the head of your pancreas. Uh, so they decided to do endoscopy. They shoved a tube down my throat. Uh, did a visual on the mass at the head of my pancreas and pulled a sample. And a couple days later, they came back and said, "Yeah, it's not looking cancerous." So I was kind of up and happy that they found something that's non-cancerous that's contributing to my digestive issues. A couple days later, they said, "Well, we're not really happy with that result, so we need to do another endoscopy. Go back in. We're going to get a biopsy again of a different location on that same mass." So I went in, they put me under again, did the biopsy, pulled it out, and then I get a call about a week later from that with that sad tone in the doctor's voice that, "Hey, we found that the mass on the head of your pancreas is in fact cancerous." And everybody gives me the long sad face. You hear it in the voice that they sound like that they're already giving you your golden ticket that you're exiting life, and they're really sad about it. But I don't accept that. So from there, we did some MRIs to get better views, did more testing, and we started chemo. Actually, they sent me to a surgeon first who was looking at performing a Whipple procedure because they felt that we had uh, discovered the cancer much sooner than most people. Now, I'm 49 years old. That's when it comes to pancreatic cancer, that's pretty young. And I know there are many younger people who have pancreatic cancers, and one of the first things I did was I looked up, okay, what's the survivability rate for pancreatic cancer? And it's never a pretty picture. A majority of people, again, are older when they get this, and they've generally lived with this a lot longer, not knowing that it is affecting their body as much as it was. Uh, for me, how I was reacting after the salmonella, when we're okay, salmonella's cleared, he's out of my system no more. He's not a player. I'm just dealing with pancreatic cancer. How it's affecting my pancreas and everything below that. Uh, for me, it was I could eat like a racehorse. I've always had a high metabolism. My older brother, he's a bigger guy. He puts on weight. He eats a cheeseburger that's half-pound burger. He'll put on 3 pounds. That's unfortunate, but that's how it happens for him. My little brother, he's a little bit bigger than me as well. He eats a cheeseburger. It's a half pound. He'll put on a pound and a quarter. You know, that's how he is. Me, I can eat the biggest burger in the world and I will maintain weight. My metabolism is exceptionally high. Uh, that is not a good thing when pancreatic cancer is choking my pancreas. I'm not getting the enzyme production from my pancreas. Another effect is it's also choking off the insulin from my pancreas, causing me to go diabetic at the same time. So this is two double whammies I'm getting from this pancreatic cancer. Um, how it affects me again is rapid weight loss. I went down from 140 pounds. My lowest was 105. I'm fighting my way back up that hill, trying to get back to a normal weight because one, muscle atrophy. My muscles are shrinking at an incredible rate, and that affects a lot of my just happiness, my just being able to get things done, being able to go to the mailbox to get the mail, being able to go to the grocery store and buy food, going out shopping, or just going out to eat. Everything is affected when the pancreas is choked off. So low energy. My muscles have shrunk down considerably. My chest looks like skin stretched over a rib cage. My legs look like chicken legs. I got nothing there. Um, but um, backing up a little bit, chemotherapy. I started chemotherapy. Let's see. I started round 3. I'm in round 3 of my chemo treatment. So let's 4 weeks ago, because I do 2-week cycle on the chemo. I spend approximately 8 hours at the VA in the chemo ward. They pump me full of chemicals for those 8 hours, 2 hours, 4 bags, 2 hours per bag, and some lab times. So for literally from 8 a.m. to about 3 to 4 p.m., I'm stuck in the hospital getting chemo pumped in me. And if you don't believe me, there's my chemo port. That's where they plug in. And you can see the scar where they cut in, and it runs up. And you can see the line right here, and it goes up to my jugular. Now I know I look super skinny. You don't want me to take my shirt off. You don't want to see me standing buck naked, because I kid you not, it's to me, it's frightening. To me, it's horrifying to see what looks like. And I hate to make the comparison because I don't want to disrespect anybody, but I look like we've seen the concentration camp photos of the Jewish people being in German concentration camps, but that's what I look like. That's what I look like. My hair's not full. Well, it is falling out, but I cut it all off because, well, I'm military. I've done it for 20 years. So it's just part of how I look. Now I have grown it out in recent years, but I just don't have the energy to deal with combing my hair every day. So I just cut it off. And that's why my head's shaved. But chemotherapy, how chemotherapy affects me. Again, after doing 7 to 8 hours of chemotherapy treatment, they send me home with a pump that connects to this chemo port right here. And that stays on me for 46 hours. So for 46 hours, I have this bag around my neck with this little battery powered pump. It weighs, it's probably only like a pound to 2 pounds, but it feels so incredibly heavy around my neck. It's mentally and physically exhausting to have chemotherapy pumped through your body for 46 hours. So I spent a lot of my time over here in my recliner because I have no energy. I'll be watching TV over here, and my computer's right here as well because I moved it upstairs because I have spent a lot of time on my computer, either doing various things. And so I brought that up here so it's a little easier for me to access. So yeah, the chemotherapy, the pump, bringing that home, things that wear down on me from wearing the pump is, of course, the constant feeding of the drugs into my system, which is highly toxic to me. It's also toxic to my family. So I have to be careful when I go to the bathroom to make sure everything stays clean. As I utilize the bathroom and come out of the bathroom, I have to make sure it's clean for my family to follow up behind me to use that bathroom as well. Uh, but the whizzing of the pump, it's like a clock. It goes off every few seconds. It'll be a wing, a wing. Every few seconds it'll do that, and it's feeding the chemotherapy in me. And that sound is mentally exhausting because it's like a ticking clock in a very quiet room. You take the batteries out of the clock. I can't take the batteries out of the machine uh, to to maintain some sanity, but it will wear down you mentally and physically because you're getting the drugs pumped into me. Like I said, makes me exhausted. So uh, it also the the cancer itself is also fighting me. So I'm fighting the chemo and I'm fighting the cancer. Again, my arms look horrific. They're super skinny. Uh, not that I was a big muscular guy to begin with, but I look more like Bruce Lee, strong. I could be an aircraft maintainer in the Air Force for 20 years and being a DIY guy. Uh, I had muscle density to where even though I was small and skinny, I could easily change the big tires on my truck, no problem. I could take off those 37-inch tires, which my truck is more of an off-road build. So I could change those tires no problem by myself. I can't even break the lug nuts loose right now. I've lost so much strength and energy fighting this cancer. But I am through round 3 of chemotherapy treatments. I'm on the upswing week, so I do have a little bit of energy to actually do this video. I will work on trying to make these better because I know society demands it. It's crazy. I'm hoping it works. I'm hoping this video goes live because I do need some help. And that's kind of what the point of these videos are. I'm hoping to get on TikTok to where it's a little more internationally seen so I can get a little help from society. I am if you look back at my videos, if you go to my Facebook page, which I'll put a link here shortly on in the description of this video, I am, and a lot of people are going to hate me simply because I'm going to say that I am a conservative person. Now, don't take that as a blind conservative. I did 20 years in the U.S. Air Force from about 2005 to for about 10 years to about 2017. I worked and I spent thousands of my own personal dollars to help homeless people here in the Wichita area. And I did not blindly help the homeless people here in the Wichita area. I invested myself in those people. You can throw socks and soup at a homeless person and you're not helping them at all. And my goals and my individual motivation was to help somebody find their self-worth, to find that they could actually stand on their own 2 feet and give them some pride in who they were. So I went out on my own trying to change people's lives, trying to fix their self-image and trying to get them to try to want to be off the streets. So I developed deep relationships with many homeless people out there. It wasn't everybody because I can't be a best friend to everybody. But I knew that I could make a difference in a couple people's lives. First, you have to establish trust because everybody will lie. So I established trust, went out to visit under bridges, people living under bridges who had makeshift homes, behind buildings, in the filthiest places in the Wichita area. And I invested strongly in a lot of people And one winter, it was brutally cold, and I was out there in the brutal cold, taking coffee, trying to bring extra blankets to a few friends that I made. And I found out that I lost a friend. They pretty much froze to death out there under the streets, and there's nothing I could do for him. They refused to come off the streets when it was cold. They knew there were shelters around, but they just refused. They thought their sleeping bag was sufficient to live underneath a bridge and survive a brutal cold spell, but they just succumbed to the weather and passed away. I was fortunate enough not to be able to not be the person that discovered that they passed, but it hit me really hard mentally and spiritually, because not only did I lose one friend, but I lost three friends in a very short time due to very bad weather in Wichita. And I had to take a break from helping the homeless. I had to get away from it for a while because it became a contest between groups. I didn't want it to be a contest. The goal is to save somebody's life, to put pride back in their step, to help them get off the streets, to be a friend to them, not only after they get off the streets, but through life, to help them recover their own self-worth. So that is the type of person I am. I want people to make their own ways. I don't want them to be dependent on any social system. I don't want them to be dependent on someone to bring them cigarettes and socks and blankets and underwear and sweats and shirts. I want them to be independent on their own, to be loved by people around them, truly care about them. That's the type of conservative I am. So right now, financially speaking, I sense I have no energy and I'm losing my physical self. I'm unable to work. I had to take a medical leave of absence from my job. And unfortunately, when you do that, you no longer get a paycheck because you're no longer working. Being retired U.S. Air Force, I do have retirement income along with some disability that I was awarded for my military service and some incidents that occurred during my military service. Uh, that doesn't put me in a horrible position financially. I am able to make the house payment, the insurance payment, the car payment. I'm able to keep the gas on. I'm able to keep the electric on. I'm able to keep the trash service, an internet connection that I'm paying a flat $50 for a month. The basic necessities of life I can cover, but anything that goes beyond that, I'm reliant upon my children. I have two boys that still live at the house. They help with everything else. Food is expensive. Gas is expensive in the cars. I have to pay for my traveling back and forth. So they help. And I have a dog over here that's laying on her bed right now that eats way too much dog food. And dog food is stupid expensive right now. 25-pound bag of diamond dog food here locally is like $60 a bag, and it goes up. So dog food's expensive. And she become part of our family before the pancreatic cancer. So now she's I hear her go into her room and she's eating her dog food. I was like, stop eating dog food, it's too expensive. Goodness. But everything with this economy right now is not in my favor. So my kids do as much as they can. They really help out. My spouse, her funds help out significantly, but I still have a kid in school, and she just became a teenager. So we're trying to buy her nicer things, shoes, clothes, because she's a growing gal, and everything that kids need today, it gets really expensive. So getting financial support. A couple good friends in that I went to high school with decided to start a GoFundMe, which I'm going to put in the link description as soon as this video is completed. But I wanted to make this initial impression. Tell you, your money won't go to waste if you help support me. I am waiting on the VA to get their act together because they did declare that this pancreatic cancer was service related, and using the PACT Act that was recently introduced and passed through Congress and the government, uh, they moved my disability from 50% to 100%. But that is not an overnight thing. It's going to take some time, and they admittedly say that it will take some time for my pay to catch up. Uh, my dog's over here yawning at me. uh, with that, I do have Social Security that I've paid in since I was 15 years old that I am owed to help me financially stabilize. Uh, Again, inflation in society, the increased bills, uh, things that I've needed to get done around the house are now more pressing than it's ever been, because I don't know if this cancer is going to let me win or if it's going to win. So that's why I do need help. And again, I'll post links to my Cash App. I'll post links to GoFundMe. So maybe I get some financial help to keep. I keep my head above water, but I mean, it's like literally the water's right here. If anything happens that's outside of the norms, I can't financially afford it, even with all of us working, because groceries are extremely expensive now. Um, Gas for your cars is extremely expensive. It fluctuates so much. Power for the home keeps going up. Um, Here locally, my water bill is outrageous because our little city got screwed by a developer and they increased the sewer system, which caused everybody's taxes to go way up. So I pay about $100. I kid you not, $100 a month. Everybody in this town pays $100 a month for water plus their usage, because a developer was supposed to bring in a couple hundred houses, and then they squawked on it and left the city with a gigantic new sewer system that now the residents have to pay for instead of new incoming residents sharing the load on. It's ridiculous. But just trying to get through. I don't need funding forever. What I'm hoping to use the GoFundMe funds for is things that I need to get done just in case I do not survive this pancreatic cancer. I need to get some house repairs completed so my family, if I don't survive, my family can make this home livable. Things that I'd like to finish is I need to finish getting repairs around the roof of my house completed. I've got bird boxes that birds are actually living in, and I've got a basement that is halfway completed on a renovation because the cancer caught me halfway through my renovation. I need to get that complete so I can give my kids actual living, safe living rooms, bedrooms. Uh, Not being able to work, I can't go down to Lowe's to grab 20 sheets of sheetrock because I'm not physically able, because I can't pick that stuff up anymore. I can't hang it anymore, so I'll have to hire out to get somebody to do it. And I financially can't afford to do that because there's not enough extra pennies in the piggy bank for me to pay somebody to come out and do it. That's one of the things that sucks about being a DIY guy. I depend on myself to get everything done, and now I'm not able to do it. That's just realities. And I'm hoping that people can see this stream and go, hey, maybe I shouldn't be, uh, maybe I should get my things done. Patience is a virtue, but procrastination is a curse. Don't procrastinate anything, man. If you can get it done, get it done. Uh, I had no idea that I had so many little things that still need to be done so I can secure this home for my family. I've never really thought about, what if I get in a car accident, I get killed, and now my kids have to fix all the car problems, and they really don't know how to do that. They don't know how to work on a truck. They don't know how to work on a car. They don't know how to garden. They don't know how to do home repairs. And there's a lot of things that still need to be done around this house that I need to do, but I can't afford to do it. But I'm gonna put the GoFundMe links in the video description, the Cash App links in my description. So if you're able to help out, that's wonderful. But as I said, I am not a person who puts to waste. If you donate $5, that'd be fantastic. Even $10 would be fantastic. But more the better to help keep food on my table, help me get some projects done around this house that I need to get done before things may get really bad. I don't know. I'm fighting this cancer. I am taking some alternative medications to um, chemotherapy. I don't want to go into that because there are people who have frowned upon what I'm having to do. Living in Kansas, medical marijuana is not legalized. It's decriminalized, but they don't sell it, and it's not allowed in the state, but they can't persecute you for having it. Uh, so that's an issue, because I know medical marijuana has had positive results for many people who have cancers and Parkinson's and Lou Gehrig's, and you just name it, glaucoma. It's funny how we can have a very liberal governor here, but we have a very conservative, traditionally conservative House of Representatives in this state, and it's a shame that uh, we can be a place for abortions, which I'm not going to get into that, but we don't have medical marijuana rights here. So there is no dispensaries I can go to get THC, which I believe God and or Mother Nature, or however you want to look at it, created marijuana, and it's a good thing for people who use it correctly. Uh, and I think it's a shame that we can have abortions here, but we can't have medical marijuana. It blows my mind. So that is something that I am hoping uh, becomes legal in this state of Kansas. Just really tired. Um, and there are other medications that have been known. One of them is fenbendazole, which is something I started taking on regime. I'm taking it for 3 days on, one pill a day for 3 days, and then 4 days off. So that is something else that is shown as a positive. That's not a traditional medicine. That's shown as a positive against cancer. So I'm taking that as well. Uh, but I'm fighting as all the routes I can. I don't want to introduce a third regime. So I'm right now, it's taking the fenbendazole. I'm starting a medical marijuana. Since it's not illegal, I do have resources to get medical marijuana. Missouri's only 2 hours away, and they sell it over there, so I can get a few things and bring it back if I need. But I'm fighting pancreatic cancer, and the truth is, pancreatic cancer is a very scary thing. Like I said, it chokes. What it does, where it's at on my body, is it chokes my pancreas, so it cannot get pancreatic digestive enzymes into my digestive tract to digest and pull the nutrients out of foods. So I have to take Creon, which is derived from pigs or cows. I don't know which one, uh, to offset that. Second is it's also uh, kills the insulin. So now I'm forced to take insulin to help my body control blood sugars. Because on average, I'm in the 400s on my blood sugar. That's not a happy place. I've been in the 800s at times. Doctors freak out, but my body pretty much runs high, anyways. But we're working. They did approve me to be put on a glucose monitor, so I do wear a monitor on my arm, and then now I got a glucose pump coming soon too. That's going to be over here on my side to help control those blood sugars, so I can hopefully I'll be free of trying to inject myself every 3 hours with this one and an hour with the other one, or daily with the other one. It's for me, it's a dealing with the chemo at the same time. It's a very heavy load to deal with. If I pull out my drawer here, I have a medical drawer in my desk. It is just loaded with pills, all sorts of pills. It's pills for constipation, pills for diarrhea, pills for blood sugar, more pills for blood sugar, more pills for blood sugar, pills for keeping my cholesterol down, pills for keeping my blood pressure down, pills for um, tons of needle points for injectors, tons of alcohol pads, stuff for insomnia because the chemo, I don't know why, but I have insomnia horrible. I'll sleep 2 hours, an hour, 30 minutes, and I'll be up for 2 hours, an hour, 30 minutes, and fall back asleep. Um, it's a horrible struggle to go through. And I don't wish this on my worst enemy. Pain wise, I'm not hurting so much as I have a lot of discomfort at times. It's hard for me to sit up straight in a chair because what physical mass is still inside my guts, your lungs, your heart, your chest, your kidneys, your liver, your pancreas, your appendix, all that stuff weighs down on those little parts of your GI tract, and sitting up straight is very discomforting to me. So I do have to slouch a little bit, and it's hard on my back doing that because my backbone is actually poking out my back now because I have no fat on me anymore. Uh, Being at 105 pounds, that's lower than I've been since I was in high school. Last time I was 105 pounds, I was probably 13 years old, and now I'm 49. But I appreciate y'all sticking through this. Future updates will be much shorter, more meaningful. But the first update, the first post I make to YouTube on an international community, I have to be completely transparent as I can be. When it comes to the funding, my friends set up the GoFundMe. I'm going to post that link down in the description. There are a lot of things I'm going to purchase that are comforts. One of the first things I bought was my recliner because I didn't have a recliner, and sitting on the couch all day is a straight up position. My couch was actually wearing out because it's a very old couch to begin with. I'm not a rich person. I mean, I don't have the best interiors in my house. I mean, there's a lot of things I want to get replaced around here before hopefully I make it through. But if I don't make it through, I'd like to be able to replace a few things in this house prior to me going, because when I leave, if I pass away from this cancer, that will be a big chunk of income my family will not have. They're not going to be able to afford. And you're probably thinking, why don't he have life insurance? Well, when I retired out of the Air Force, I had my own military to provide you with almost $250,000 of life insurance while you are in the military and you are active duty. So if something happens to you, your family would give $250,000, which is fine. It's a good number for helping your family after you pass away, because It was enough. And now I know it's increased over time. But once I got out of the military, that was one of the things I tried to get was life insurance. Everybody denied me. Everybody denied me. Every insurance agency I went to, I took the blood test. They draw blood. They did blood pressure. They did all that junk. And everybody, even term life insurance, they refused to give me life insurance. So for years, I've not been able to get life insurance. Even to this day, I couldn't get life insurance. Which I thought, well, you know what, I'm fine physically. I'll keep. I when we bought our house, I bought a house that regardless as if I survived or not, if I died, the retirement pay that my spouse would get after I died would be enough to at least pay for the house. So I made sure I got a house that was within our financial, being able to be financially responsible for the house. So it's not a gigantic house. It's a nice house, but it could have a lot of repairs done to it that I believe are necessary. So financially speaking, I do need support until the government settles my IRS or my Social Security, because like I said, I've paid in since I was 15 years old. I had jobs at 15 on. They owe me that money. I paid in, they owe me that money. So I'm hoping to get that money back out of the government to help me financially at this time. Last time I looked, was just a day or two ago, my application for Social Security benefits was at 9%. They had completed 9% of the review process. And at the top of the page, it says it could take up to 272 days before they make a decision. That's ridiculous. And I've talked to other people who have went on disability, and they tell me, yeah, it can take a long time. But understand that there are repairs to it took us a couple of weeks to be able to afford to do some repairs on my son's car. The one he drives daily back and forth to work. He had an oil leak that was fairly bad, and then it was overheating. So I had two systems to fix on that car, and it took us a long time, me being sick, to get the parts and do the repairs on that car that we both worked together on. There's sometimes you need to take the car to the mechanic. My truck, again, it's not a daily driver truck. But it's got a problem with the rear end that I'm going to need to get the rear end rebuilt on it. So the gears in the rear end of the axle, they're doing a chattering, which tells me the rear end is going out. So I need to get that fixed. And unfortunately, I can't do that on my own. I have to get a mechanic that's going to do that. 6 months ago, I could have done it. But with the pancreatic cancer now, I physically am unable to pull the tires. I'm unable to take the gears out and get them all replaced. I physically can't do that right now. So I do need financial help to get that truck back in acceptable working order. Just getting the house in order, because I know my AC's probably not far off its last leg. There's electrical work that needs to be done around the house that I just physically can't do anymore, that I'm going to have to hire out to get fixed. Don't want to, but I'm unfortunately going to be forced to. Realities. Just procrastination is a curse. You don't want to be here. You don't want to be in this position. And I know there are a lot of people in this position. And like I've said, I don't put it to waste. If I get extra funding, I would, if my if my VA benefits come through, if Social Security comes through, I get the back pay that they owe me, and the funding that they owe me, I will stop any GoFundMe's before they reach the end. If funding comes in from GoFundMe, and I can take that money and make positive strides in my community, because I want to get back on the streets of Wichita helping people get back on their own feet. If I can utilize that money to do that and then reinvest that in my community, I will do that. Until I am physically able to go back to work, I'm going to do whatever I can to improve society around me. So don't fear that I'm going to be taking your money and just going down to Red Lobster and having a steak. I don't do that type of thing. I'll make it count. Again, things I'm dealing with in the house, finishing a basement renovation, getting repairs on the exterior of the house, getting electrical repaired in the house, getting my HVAC in the house updated so my wife is not dealing with that if I croak. Getting the cars back in order, getting those repairs done that I physically not do, but I'm going to have to hire out to get done. That's where I need financial support. I'm not dying. I am dying. I'm not drowning in debt, but just making things happen is beyond anything that's daily is very, very, very hard. If it wasn't for 18 for Life, it's a organization back home where high school I graduated at. Some friends started an organization that helps people dealing with cancer. If it wasn't for 18 for Life sending me $1,000 check at the exact right time that I needed it, my car would probably be repossessed. That's how tight my funds are right now. Even with my kids working, they have to make their own way in life, but they're helping. Sometimes they pick up food, sometimes they pick up dog food, sometimes they pay for parts for the cars and repairs for the cars. My spouse also working. Again, she's trying to save money up because what if I don't survive this cancer and my funds run out? She's trying to create a nest egg for her and our 3 kids. So everybody who can give, I really, really appreciate it. I will ask for addresses from people who gave through GoFundMe. Some people don't like GoFundMe. Some people prefer to use Cash App. My name, it's $ Dory, DORY, no space, Hayes. So just one word, DoryHayes, with a $ in front. That's my Cash App. I'll post those links in the video description below. And I'm going to let you go because I'm exhausted from sitting here in front of trying to explain everything. But again, every penny is appreciated. Every penny helps my family directly. It gets food on the table. It keeps the lights on. It helps me keep tires on the cars. It helps me keep gas in the cars. And it's stuff that's needed because anything extra, if I need to buy those surprises, we all know they exist. Surprises happen. Those surprises I cannot afford. Not with my current financial situation across the board, and even with everybody in the family paying their own fair share of everything. Those extras are not possible right now in my current financial situation. Now, in 2 to 3, 4 months, like I said, Social Security, 272 days. Oh my God, it's horrible. If my financial irons out, I'll tell everybody to stop donating because I won't need your help at that point. But I'm still have to get some financial help here. So I appreciate everybody. And thank you a lot for getting to the end of the stream. Thanks. God bless.